first time in 44 years, baseball has a Subway Series, a real Subway Series, a Subway World Series.
Interleague play began in 1997, and as the Yankees and Mets met every year, the stadiums were filled. Anticipation really grew for the possibility that you could see a real Subway Series in October, and that finally happened in 2000.
I think even for a team that had been in the World Series 3 times in the previous 4 years, there was something different about 2000 because it was going to be against the Mets. This is what, kids on both sides of the rivalry had dreamed of seeing, the Yankee-Met World Series, and they finally got their chance.
I thought it was terrific to see what was going on in the city. The noise at both ballparks, Yankee Stadium, Shea Stadium, people clamoring on the subways about what was going on.
It was going to be Queens and the Bronx, Yankees versus Mets, just a great matchup.
Playing the World Series with the Mets, everywhere you go, it was like Yankees fan, Mets fan.
It was between 2 New York teams. We played those guys during the year, but in the World Series, it was incredible.
You couldn't go anywhere in New York that week leading up to, the few days leading up to the series without hearing people talk about it.
It's all anyone talked about. You're walking down the street, it was good luck or you're going to lose. It's just the range of emotions from one block to the next was pretty fun to be a part of.
People in New York were so excited to see this. Mets hats, Yankee hats everywhere.
Yankee hats everywhere, Met hats everywhere.
Anywhere you moved from Jersey, New York, Connecticut, people were going to be talking about the Yankees and the Mets.
You knew everything you wrote was going to be eaten up by the readers because they were paying attention to both teams.
You knew that it was going to be wall-to-wall coverage. I love the idea of being able to cover it.
The atmosphere was certainly different in the fact of this was about more than just winning the World Series. This was about keeping your stranglehold on New York.
It was just fun. The whole series was enjoyable and it's fun. It's what you play for.
I think that just was a terrific thing to witness as someone who covered both teams.
New York was as pumped up for a sporting event as I think I've ever seen it.
It was super electric. New York was super electric during this time.
And New York was the center stage that year.
The Yankees had swept the World Series the previous 2 years. They had won 3 of the past 4 World Series, and they knew what it was about.
As a group, we say, okay, this is the one, because this is the battle of New York, so we got to win this one.
There was obviously a lot of intensity in this series.
You always have respect for your opponents, but no one was walking around shaking hands and giving hugs before the game.
And that particular one was a lot of talking, a lot of trash talking.
We didn't like each other. The Mets didn't like us, and we didn't like the Yankees. We didn't like the Mets. It was just that kind of rivalry.
We knew that was going to be tough, but like I said, we believe every time we step on the field that we can beat anybody.
We just wanted to win. That group we had just wanted to win.
You had a feeling that if the Mets were going to have any chance to win this series, they had to win Game 1.
In Game 1 of the 2000 World Series, the Yankees used what they did a lot in the 90s. They grinded out at bats.
In the bottom of the 9th inning of Game 1, Armando Benitez, Mets closer, lost a 10-pitch at bat to Paul O'Neill. It was a great at bat by O'Neill. He fouled off several pitches, and he worked a walk.
Paul O'Neill, the terrific at bat to help the Yankees tie the game in the 9th inning.
Swung on and hit in the air to deep left. Back goes McEwing. He's there. He makes the catch. Tagging is O'Neill. He will score the tying run.
And they end up winning in the 12th. Another one of those low-key, unsung heroes. Jose Vizcaino's game-winning hit helped the Yankees clinch Game 1 of the Subway Series.
Wendell sets and the pitch. Swung on line drive. Base hit to left field. Here comes Tito. He scores. And the Yankees win the game. A big base hit for Jose Vizcaino. And the Yankees win 4-3. And they lead in this best-of-7 series. 1-0. Oh, what a game here on a Saturday night and Sunday morning in New York City. And the Yankees mob Vizcaino around first base. What a ball game.
Vizcaino and that mighty 2000 Yankee team might not have been a name that leaps to mind real quickly, but in Game 1 of the World Series it was.
To have an unlikely hero like Vizcaino come up with that big hit, the latest in a long line of unlikely heroes for the Yankees in the World Series.
A guy that comes off the bench and gives you this, this great at bat to win a ball game in the 11th inning at home.
I think what Jose Vizcaino showed in Game 1 is that it is about all 25 players.
Once the Yankees had gotten out to the lead early in the series, most people questioned whether the Mets were going to be able to come back at all.
There was a moment in this series when the Mets were actually back in it.
The Mets were trying anything to prove that they could hang around in this series. They had won one game, but they really wanted to make a statement in this game.
But any idea that Mets may have had that momentum was shifting their way ended when Derek Jeter led off Game 4 with a home run.
So Derek Jeter moves into the leadoff spot as both clubs have struggled to get their leadoff men on base in this series. Jeter has been in the leadoff spot before this year when Knobloch was injured in particular. And he goes after the first pitch way back left field. Derek Jeter, he's on and out. Goodbye home run. First pitch homer for Derek Jeter.
Derek Jeter, with flashbulbs going off everywhere, hits the first pitch out of Shea Stadium, and the Yankees would soon be on their way to another World Series championship.
I think Jeter's home run probably did seal the series. It sort of made the statement of, we're not going away, we're not going to let you back into this, we're going to step on your throat now.
That was sort of a statement. Here we are, you're not going to catch us, we are the champions of New York City and of all Major League Baseball.
Yeah, I tried to hit a home run that first pitch. I'm just playing. You don't believe that, do you? I just try to get a good pitch to hit and hit it hard. I mean, I was fortunate.
So that's why he's one of the best players I've ever seen. And I was honored to play with that guy.
He's just cementing at that point how great he was, how awesome a player he was, how lucky and fortunate the Yankees were to have him in their lineup.
He's been such a staple of New York and of the Yankees. It was sort of appropriate that in this Subway Series, he be the one to come out and win the MVP award.
To play well when your team needs it most is something I've tried to pride myself on throughout my career. And it doesn't get any bigger than the World Series, and I was fortunate to be playing well at that time.
The Yankees used another comeback to clinch the 2000 World Series, 2 runs in the 9th inning.
And then we start talking who's going to be the hero. And I was the last guy, and I said, well, I'm just going to hit a base hit to win.
Another unsung hero, Luis Sojo, dribbled the ball back up the middle that probably took about 10,000 hops before it got into center field.
75 hops up the middle, and it really worked for me.
Up the middle, base hit. Here comes Posada. Throw to the plate, hits the runner into the dugout. Brocious will score, and the Yankees lead 4-2.
It just once again exemplified that the Yankees were a team that had a deep bench, they had some role players, and these role players were able to come through for them, and Sojo was just one more example of that. It wasn't even easy right until the end. Piazza drills a ball.
Everybody thought that the ball was further than it went.
If you're at the stadium, you're watching the outfielder, so you're looking to see, is this ball going to stay in?
Off the bat, sounded like a home run. You look at O'Neill's face when the ball's going up.
And though Piazza got a lot of it, Bernie Williams had some room. He's able to make that play.
The New York Yankees have once again reached the summit of the sports world.
And the Yankees, again, they're able to celebrate 3rd World Series in 4 seasons. It's not something that a lot of teams have ever been able to do.
Yeah, that was a World Series that one of the ones I'll remember the most. It was as exciting as they come.
They were able to do it by beating their neighbor, and Yankee fans had bragging rights at that point.
There was a lot of relief because there was a lot of tension on who's the best team in New York. It was the Yankees.